And so we face the final curtain. Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christina with Read.Pray.Disney. Here on this channel, we like to talk all things Disney, from packing to planning to pens to books. So this is it. This is the last chapters of The Evil Queen. This has been I'm not going to say great book. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it was good. It was a good read. But I'll give you my feelings after the fact. All right. So for those of you that are new, and thank you. Hi, welcome to my channel. Thank you for clicking on the video. But you are going to be a little lost in the sauce. We are like in the last few chapters of, that's it. That's all we have left. Oh Lord, everything just falling out. We're in the last few chapters of the book. So if you haven't heard the story yet, you might want to go back all the way back to the beginning. All right. I lied to you. There's actually 45 chapters. I don't know how I missed, and I kept saying there's 44, there's 44. I guess those pages stuck together. I don't know, but it's 45 chapters. So we are picking up at chapter 42, okay? So we got 42, 43, 44, 45. But they go relatively quickly. At least I'll try. Okay, so we left off with Everly and Roth. You know, they were at the camp in the forest, and Noelle had brought everybody together. We got Queen Violet, who is violent, which is Everly and Truly's mom. We have Saxon, we have Vikander, we have, no, I keep saying that. We don't have Saxon and Vikander yet. They're coming, literally. We have Nick, we have Ty for Tyler, we have I guess we should call them that. Noelle and Ophelia. We have all of those folks, and they're there. They're all mad and whatnot. But anyway, so we leave off with Everly and Roth have stayed the night together and have done the deed. And now we have the morning after. It's so awkward. But so she wakes up, and Roth's not there. And remember, there was a prophecy that Noelle had kind of spouted out randomly. And that prophecy is coming to fruition, okay? So what happens is Farah comes and she attacks the camp. And Farah is hot mad. And Farah she's wielding some sort of ice magic that now here's the thing, Farah has siphoned from a witch, or not siphoned, she did that switcheroo thing where she had another witch take a witch's powers and imbue them into herself. So she killed somebody to get these powers. So Farah has these ice powers, and she has brought the kingdom, and that's where Saxon and Vikander come into play. And she also has the power of compulsion. She is compelling. No, I lied. She is not compelling. She has, you remember when we talked about, remember Reese? Reese was like the merman who never spoke, and he was way at the beginning of the movie, at the beginning of the book, and he was part of Roth's crew. Well, Reese had died, but Reese was a mer person, right? So he was like a siren, and so that's why he didn't speak, because his voice, that was my dog scratching at the door. I'll get you in a minute. So Reese had that power of, he's a siren, and so his voice controls people. And so that's what Farah did as well. I lied. Farah already had the ice magic. She got, I don't know how to mess this up, but she killed, had a mer person killed, essentially a siren, and has taken their voice. So through her voice, her sing, and she's not really screaming, as more as like, Everly hears it as this screeching sound, but everybody else hears this melodic tone that's controlling them. So I said all that to say, because Vikander and Saxon are under this mind siren control situation, where they are fully, almost like Roth's compulsion, they are fully aware of what they're doing, but they're not able to fight it. So as she has as she's entering this camp and she's taking over the camp, she's shooting her ice magic all over the place. Like she is, like Everly wakes up into this frozen, almost wasteland. Like everything in the forest is frozen. And she sees Roth and he's frozen, or not yet. They try to battle, they try to fight, and let's just get down to the nitty gritty. As much as Everly tries, she cannot protect Truly. Truly is cut down. So what, and you'll have, if you want to know the whole scene, it is sad and it is, and I teared up. I teared up when I read that because it was, wow, it was sad. But essentially Saxon is the one who takes Truly out, and Farah did everything or not Farah, Lord, I am all over the place with these names. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's back up. Truly does get taken down too, but it's Hartley. Saxon cuts down Hartley. So we find out also that, okay, it's just so much. It's just so much is happening. Like this whole battle is happening in the middle of this forest. Okay, so then, so Truly, or Everly is broken and so forth. And during the midst of all of this, I don't think I told you guys, when Warwick showed up with, Warwick and Hartley showed up with all the trolls. Warwick he's the king of the ruler, commander of the trolls, right? It's Warwick, and then they had a brother, and then they had a little brother. That little brother is who Everly killed way at the beginning when she first got to Enchantia. She killed a troll, and that was Warwick's little brother. So they have a middle brother. The middle brother is livid. He comes to the camp with his older brother Warwick, and he didn't have any qualms with Hartley or anything like that. He was just angry at Everly, and he couldn't understand why Warwick wouldn't take vengeance out. But anyway, so, Roth had noticed it and Everly had noticed it. Like, this one troll keeps looking at her like she's crazy. So that comes to play. And I'm sorry, I don't know why I didn't tell y'all that, but because at first I didn't realize it did come out, but it does. It comes out in the fact that, so while Everly is hurting and in pain about Hartley and the loss of Hartley, Warwick attacks and he bites her. Now, troll venom is, lethal essentially, and he bit her, and so the Roth attacks and gets the troll off, and then Farah, I cannot get these names right, then Farah freezes him and all that, but what happens is that in the prophecy that Noelle spouted, she said that venom cancels out venom. So they thought that Everly that was it. She was about to die, but she doesn't, because the venom that she had been getting from the Spider Orpians, from Phobia, and whatever the other one was named, from the Spider Orpians, the venom canceled itself out. So she lives, right? Everly lives. But during all of this, Everly kind of has this thing that kind of, and then also in the prophecy said things will be made clear. Well, it's made clear. So I'm going to read this part to you. Okay. So essentially, Everly questions, who actually is the evil queen and all that. And she goes, she goes, how could I be the one labeled evil in this situation? I was more like Snow White. The answer crystallized at last, all made clear in the light of the morning, and I sucked in a breath. The reason none of us had figured out the one character we were supposed to be was because we weren't just one character. We had the potential to be any character we wanted to be. The sweet Snow White, the jealous evil queen, the conflicted huntsman, the protective dwarves. Every day, our choices decided who and what we would be. Here, now, Farah acted the part of evil queen. When Violet had tried to kill me, she played the part of the evil queen too. When Roth had judged me for my parentage, he had been the evil queen. At some point or another, evil had worn each of our faces. Plot twist! Everybody's the evil queen. Imagine that. So, there's that. And it really does work out. Because if y'all remember this, reading this whole thing, I'm like, I don't know if she's the evil queen here. Like, it feels... I'll talk about it afterwards. So, anywho, all right. So that happens, right? And then we come to find out that we're wondering, like, well, why is Farah still wielding and doing and all? Y'all, Nick, their stepdad, the brother to King Stephen, technically their stepdad uncle, Nick is the person who is behind all of this, right? So he's the witch he's the person, the sorcerer who had, who did the switcheroo with the magic and so forth. He's the one that's been aiding and abetting Farah and Violet too, like I'm about to tell you in a minute. He's the one behind all of this. And it's like, I'm mind blown. Okay, so chapter 43. Chapter 43 gets over, and it's sad because this is where Everly is trying to save. She knows that she can't. She knows she's lost Hartley and Warwick, and she's trying to save Truly. And so she does everything. She tries to do Ross compulsion. She tries. At first, she tries Ross compulsion. She tries CPR and all this. Ross compulsion does help her. But Roth is still encased in ice though. So remember that he's still encased in ice, but he's alive, but she's pulling the magic from him. So Truly lives, and the trolls are on. So Truly lives, but then the trolls kind of come up and she's ready. Everly's ready to fight, but then we come to find out the trolls are on her side too. They say that, Hartley was essentially their queen and they loved her and blah, blah, blah. And Warwick, go Warwick. And anyway, so they are on her side. They yield to her. They bend the knee to her, so to speak. At this point, everyone's hurting. Roth is hurting because of his sister is doing all of this. Everly is hurting because she lost Hartley. Truly is hurting because Farah, everybody knows that Everly is gonna snap on Farah. She's gonna kill her, kind of thing. So all of this is going back and forth, and Allura, during the course of all of this, remember Allura? And we kept like, who and what? Allura reveals herself. So Hartley, when she passed, her little Thor is her dog. Hartley, when she passed, Thor kind of wouldn't leave where Hartley's body was laying, and come to realize there was something happening with it. A tree had sprouted where Hartley's body was, and it grew and grew to this magnificent tree, and it was like a black trunk with these white apples. And Everly realizes that essentially that's Farah's tree, like it's Farah. And she goes to her and the tree, and she's like banging on the tree, and she gets it bloody and blah, 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 blah. And so she's shook, right? And during all of this, Allura reveals herself. And we come to Allura at first wears the faces of everybody that Everly has lost. Like she wears the face of Farah, her mother, Reese, and then she goes back to Farah and why am I saying Farah? Hartley. And so Everly tells Allura, look, who are you? What are you? And she goes, I'm Allura. And she goes, okay, I'm gonna need you not to be in that face. Choose anyone else other than Hartley's face. And so she does. She changes, and now she is this black woman, a bald black woman in this beautiful gown. I'm gonna put a pin in that because I'm gonna talk about that in our post review of this. I don't like the way Gina Showalter did that. Everybody in this story has been thoughtfully and meticulously described, and But when it comes to Allura, it literally said, let me go back to it. In a blink, she morphed into a beautiful Black woman with a shaved head, clad in a dress made with ivy. That's it. That's all we got. You talked about Gina Showalter. This is to you. Okay. I'll wait for that. So anyway, Allura comes and Allura Allura presents Everly with this proposition. She goes, look, I'm tired. There's this war that's abounding. You know, we got all these other little countries and islands. They're all in their own thing right now. Their fairy tales are happening as we speak, and it's going to bleed over into what you guys are experiencing. She goes, I'm tired of all of this. I got all this power, all this magic, but I'm just tired. I can't weather this anymore, but I want you to take my place. And Everly's like, I'm gonna take your place. But then she thinks about it a little more. And this is where Everly and her duality comes in, and realizing that, you know, if she does take this place, because what Allura tells her is that it requires everything from you. So Allura shows her the power that she will wield. Like she and it's unfathomable power. Like she has just power, you know, like power of the forest that it's a direct connection to the forest. So Everly's feeding off of her anger and her hatred for Farah and everything that's happened. And she is like blood. She wants blood, and she wants Farah's blood. And so Everly's kind of getting sucked into this. So Allura tells her, you know, you need to make a decision, you need to make a choice. And long story short, or long chapter short, essentially what happens is, let me flip back over to my notes so I make sure I tell you right. She as an Everly captures Vikander, she captures Saxon, she captures Tyler, and because she can't find Nick. Something happened. She can't find Nick. She don't know where Nick went. But she captures all these people. She captures Farah and Roth, and she brings them all into this other dimension, like a literal other dimension. And however, Truly and the dog, Thor, Truly and the dog go to she puts them in a separate dimension to keep them safe. Like, you guys want to stay right here. And Truly's like, hold on, whoa, where are we at? What we doing? What's going on? And everybody's like, I got you, sis. It's going to be all right. Just need you to stay right here while I go handle some business. And Truly's like, nah, it doesn't sound good. She's like, no, boo, it's good. Stay here. So Everly goes back to this other dimension where she has everybody kind of essentially tied up with the vines of the trees and so forth. Allura is allowing Everly to do this so she can see the type of power she can wield. So during the course of this, Everly flips a switch. Like, she is pissed beyond measure. And it's clicking in her that if she takes and becomes the keeper of the forest, then she has this power that she can take vengeance out on everyone. So she pulls them all in, and homegirl holds court. So that whole episode at the beginning of this, where we talk about, she's like, hi, my darklings, and blah, blah, blah. So essentially, and at this point, I'm just gonna put the book down, and because we at the end. So essentially what happens is Everly, she's still working through this grief. So she puts up this illusion magic that her grieving self, she can't hold her facial features together. She can't hold it together. So she puts up this illusion of this badass bee, right? And she plays the part, right? So she plays the part of the evil queen. She makes, like, Roth, bless him, he is pleading and begging her and telling her, this isn't you. I love you. I'm not going to stand in your way. I won't let you ruin yourself. And she's like, I'm not trying to hear it. Oh, but I love him. But I'm not trying to hear it. Oh, but I love him. I'm not trying to hear it. Like, it goes back and forth like that for a while. And then, Everly, essentially, she creates an apple. She gets an apple, and it's a white apple, one of Hartley's apples from her tree, because remember, Hartley has white apples now. She presents her with one of the white, she gets one of the white apples, and she she cuts herself and rubs the apple into it. And so now the apple is half white and half blood red with her poisonous blood. And she says, look, I need you're going to eat this apple. She's talking to Pharaoh. You're going to eat this apple and you're going to go night-night for a very, very long time. And I'm going to have my vengeance across everybody, blah, 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 blah. And Roth is like, I can't let you do this. And he eats the apple and he falls. He's the one, he sacrifices himself to save, not necessarily save Farrah, but to save Everly from herself because he believes in her. So then Everly decides, okay, that breaks her again, right? Because now she's all, what the hell, Roth, you weren't supposed to do that. And Allura essentially, Everly learns, because what Allura tells her is that if you take over the forest, because I feel like she's baiting her, but there's a reason for this. So essentially she goes, if you take over the forest and take over my job, because I ain't trying to do this, I'll give you the antidote. And Everly mentions, she's like, I don't even, when she was flexing all the power, she doesn't remember sensing an antidote. So she felt like it was a little bit of a trick. All said and done, Everly doesn't. She doesn't kill Farrah. She puts Farrah into a glass coffin and has Ophelia bewitch the coffin so that Farrah can see all the atrocities and the murders she's committed and how her vengeance has caused grief to everybody over and over and over again. And the curse is that once Farrah understands and she's able, she can essentially be repentant of her grief, then that will break her. So Farrah's got to break her own curse, essentially. Everybody decides, like Saxon and Vikander bend the knee because they think Roth is gone. And so they bend the knee to Everly because Roth did ask Everly to marry him. And she, in her anger and stuff, she just refused. And he professed his love in front of everyone, which also ticked off Farrah. Anyway, he professed his love and all that. And so they bend a knee to her saying, look, you're our queen, essentially, And she's like, I'm not trying to take that job. I got things to do right now. Life to figure out. And truly takes, so here's the other thing. During the course of during the course of all of this, right before the whole Apple situation, Allura shows Everly, Violet, and Nick. Nick knew why he hated Everly because essentially she's the one who killed his mother, right? Not his mother, his love, his wife. But Nick couldn't understand why Violet hated Everly. And so what we come to find out, Violet hated Everly because when Violet took over King Stephen's powers, she saw what he saw because he had the vision of foresight. So she saw what he saw and that Everly was their doom. And so that's why she hated Everly, was trying to kill her because essentially she was just a mother trying to protect her daughter, but in a twisted way because they're both her daughters, but she was trying to protect Truly. So anyway, Truly, Everly lets Violet go and she's trying to forgive. She's trying, and because she's decided that she is not going to take the angry vengeance route of that Farrah took. She doesn't want to be Farrah. She wants love. She doesn't want to have to give up everything. Give up her life, give up everything to save Roth because she doesn't understand why can't I have love? Why can't I be a protector? She goes, love essentially is strength. Let you find strength within each other, find strength within yourself, and that's love. So all of this said and done, Allura comes back and she's like, hey, you passed my test. And you're like, what? Allura, really? It was a test. All of this was a test. Allura was testing Everly. Allura, when Everly first made it back, or made it into Enchantia, Allura has been testing her. Every decision, every day, everything that Everly has gone through, it wasn't necessarily put in place by Allura, but Allura knew going down the pipe, this is what she wanted to do this. She chose Everly to take over. And so she couldn't necessarily interfere with anything, but she didn't try to stop anything either. She just helped when she could. And that's why she was, keeping an eye on her and everything, those flowers in her tower. So essentially, Everly does take the power of the forest. She becomes the protector of the forest, and she is imbued with all of that power that from the tree of life and new beginnings. Because Everly realizes that everything in that forest is good and evil. It's the forest of good and evil. That forest provides, but it also kills, And so she realizes that it's two sides essentially to the same coin. And she wants her happily ever after. So she awakens Roth, and Roth is like, Everly's like, I need to tell you. He's like, no, I was conscious. I heard everything, I just couldn't do anything, but heard everything. And she decides to forge out her happily ever after. The end. That was it. Yeah. So that's how that goes. Now let's talk about what I think. My thought process. Okay. All right. So a couple of things. I don't understand why Reese was even a character that was necessary. I'm not sure. I don't get it, because it felt like his death wasn't necessary. All it did was show Everly that that Roth can fight and protect somebody, okay. Anyway, then the whole Black woman situation, like everybody else, and it's not about being a Black person, that wasn't it. It was Allura was such a pivotal character, but nothing was flushed out. Like nothing, it just seemed at the end, I'm Allura, here I am, and this is why I'm gonna do this. But we don't get a sense of who she is or her background. Maybe that's gonna happen in a different book, because Allura is going to stick around and help Everly learn her powers before she moves on with her own life. So, and obviously what's going to happen is in this series, it picks up with a different fairy tale, but they're all going to kind of weave in together, because again, they're all in the same land. They're all in the same, here's the forest. It's shaped like a dragon, if y'all didn't see that, but here's the enchanted forest, and it separates all of these things. So all of the other fairy tales, whether it be Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, all of that, they're all going to play out. But I don't know. I feel like Allura, maybe Allura's going to get fleshed out a little later. I just don't like how everybody else was described in so much detail, and then we get one line to describe Allura, who has so much pivotal power. Like she's a game changer in all of this, and I get one line. That doesn't make sense. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense. And then the other thing is all these names. Like it was a 15 billion characters. Like I don't know if I reread it, and I don't know if this is one that I would reread. I enjoyed the first read, but I don't know if I would reread this. Like I think I would. I would pick up the other books. I don't know if I would take the time to do one of these videos on the other stories. I might just do audio, just listen to them. But I liked it, but I felt like a lot of it was, some things just weren't explained very well, or you left us hanging for no reason. Like, just say what we need to say. I don't know. But it was a good book, and I would recommend it to anyone. Absolutely. But those are my thoughts. I just think with the teenage love angst situations that were happening, these ships, so to speak, I don't know if we needed all of that, because there were plenty of times that Everly and her bullheadedness of, well, I'm the evil queen. I'm the evil queen. I don't want to be the evil queen, but I'm the evil queen. Wait, everybody can be the evil queen, but I want to still be the evil queen. Like, what the hell? it was just a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. However, I do like that in premise. I do enjoy the fact that, at least for this storyline, everyone played the evil queen at some point. Everyone played Snow White at some point. And I love the idea of your choices make out your fairy tale. So just because this fairy tale is this, it doesn't necessarily mean you are slated for these particular positions. It just means this is how it's going to play out. On a side note, and I don't think Nick was never found. Okay, so that's going to have to come and play too in the next series or so forth. So Nick was never found. So that obviously leaves a whole thing open, because Roth and Everly are going to essentially try to fight Nick wherever Nick goes to. And Queen Violet, she did ask for forgiveness, but Everly's like, hey, I'm not really there yet. You know, I might forgive you one day for my sake. And I appreciate that about her. But she's not there yet. So that's The Evil Queen for you guys by Gina Showalter. Let me know what you think about the whole thing. How do you like how it ended? Because it ended, but not, you know, because we're not on a cliffhanger, but there is absolutely more that can be fleshed out. So there we go. Thank you guys for joining me. I want to say that my next book, all up in your face there. So here it is. I bought Hocus Pocus. I don't know if this is going to be the next one I read though, because this is Hocus Pocus, but it's Hocus Pocus and the all new sequel, right? So the sequel to the story, which please, I love this book. So this one says, shortly after moving to California from California to Salem, Massachusetts, Max finds himself blah, 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 blah. But 25 years later, Max and Alice's 17-year-old daughter, Poppy, finds herself face to face with the Sanderson sisters in all their sinister glory. When Halloween celebrations don't go quite as planned, it's a race against time as Poppy and her friends fight to save her family and all of Salem from the witches' last vile scheme. So I want to get into this one, but I think what we are going to get into is, I want to get into Kingdom Keepers. This is also a series book, but Kingdom Keepers, this one, it says Disney After Dark. And so this particular book, it's an older series, and it's pretty, I think it'll go pretty quick for us. But this particular book is about how using Walt Disney World, the park, as a backdrop to this story. So all of our villains and everything come to life after dark in the parks that we know and love. So this is the one I want to get into next, but also because it's a smaller book, and y'all know our readings I'm gonna pick up, but this is a smaller book. So this is where we're gonna go with next. And then more than likely after that will be Hocus Pocus, okay? Unless you guys have some recommendations, let me know in the comments below. But as always, have a magically blessed day, and know I'll be praying for you. Bye, guys.